And we are going
Live.
waiting for it live. I didn't get my notice. Are we through live?
We are live.
Awesome. Welcome to another phenomenal episode of What the FiGPiN?
What the FiGPiN?
We have an awesome show for you guys tonight. I'm super pumped to introduce our amazing guests. We have Steven with us, aka Pop Culture Pin Collectors, I think also aka Mr. MeeMee. We also have a very special guest on the other side. We have Amado from FiGPiN. Of course, we have our phenomenal hosts, John and Alex. How is everybody doing this evening?
Doing good. Well.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, I think we have so much fun stuff to do this evening. I think John and Alex might have a couple surprises. I know Steven has some awesome stories of how he collected. So why don't we get right on to it?
Battle, before we get into it, John, did you receive your Pins on Fire swag today?
That I did.
Wait, you got some more swag?
There is a note on the package that says "Do not open till the show." So I'll go ahead and I'll start opening it.
So I also got something.
Wait, what? So they're sending this wasn't special just for me? I thought I was the only one that got the swag.
And then Battle got a box.
I got one. Wait, I did. Wait, it's right here though.
Should we open it?
Well, I guess let's try it. Let's see what it is.
What on earth did they do? I want to see. Where's my unboxing video? Yeah. Let me see the paper being thrown out. Let me see all the shreds.
So the first, there is a note on the top that says, "Thank you for all you do for the FiGPiN community, and for letting us be part of the show, Sandy and Jason." Well, guys, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. We appreciate you guys being part of us. So there's a couple of cool things in here.
I was gonna say, it's weird that I'm doing two boxes at once. I wonder if they're the same. I don't know.
Hey, watch her. She's gonna be dropping stuff from one box to the other, slipping, swapping. Oh, what is that?
Something small in here.
Oh, I like it.
Guys, as we're doing this, whoa.
We got our own Pins on Fire mug.
What? Oh, cool. Are those the exclusives on it?
Yep.
Nice.
That is super cool.
Awesome.
Amado, don't be jealous.
You want to call
got mugs now and you don't.
Do you want to call those exclusives out?
Yeah.
What are the, yeah.
It is the Gohan from Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Fighters, sorry. We got the Halloween Midoriya from My Hero.
Epic.
We got Catgirl or Catwoman from Batman. And then we have the Hello Kitty Halloween or Orange. And then Whis from Dragon Ball Super.
Very cool. I love that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I got my own official Pins on Fire swag too.
Oh,
really?
Let me see it. What you got?
Yeah. The Pins on Fire controller grip.
Whoa.
Man, for the Switch, that is super cool. That's a one.
That is pretty cool.
I think it's a grail right there.
Did you open the small one?
Oh, I did. And I'm liking the back of it because it says AP of it.
Yes, it does.
Guys, we got a gold logo.
Oh, sweet. Are those their new logos?
That it is.
Hey, so is that the one that Bendy helped them make, or what? Do you know where that one came from?
Look at that.
It's definitely, it's awesome. So cool. It's raised lettering, and the flames are raised as well on the logo. So that's pretty cool.
That is so cool.
What's the run size, guys?
It just says AP on it. So unlimited APs.
Can you look that up real quick?
Cool.
We can for sure. And I'm opening the last thing that was in the box here, which I'm loving already because
sounds like a FiGPiN.
it is a FiGPiN, and it's a Dragon Ball FiGPiN.
Oh,
and it's their exclusive.
Yes.
And what?
Awesome! That picture on.
Well,
They just sent an AP. Guys,
I got something different. He knows I've been searching for this forever.
That is
man.
a sick
Nice.
pin.
I now have a complete AP avatar collection. So
Very
Battle, I will
nice.
open your AP.
Congrats.
I'm
Jason and
excited.
Sandy, Pins on Fire community, you guys
are
are
amazing.
absolutely awesome.
All right, Battle. And I'm gonna look. I'll let you take the first look. All right.
Hold on, I'm zooming in.
All right.
You're zooming. You're just getting closer to the screen. Here, hold on. I can go ahead and I can make her the speaker, and as she's talking, it'll be big enough for everybody.
All right. Ready? There you go, Battle.
Holy smokes! No way! I'm speechless. Like, that is an incredible pin. Holy smokes!
Awesome.
Oh, thank you, Pins on Fire, for not only what you help us with, but your generosity to our fans in the show. Been an amazing sponsor. Thank you so much for amazing gifts.
This is awesome.
Very
Thank
cool.
you so much.
And
I need
so
to
Battle,
do a couple laps.
Yeah, before we begin, we just want to go ahead and so Amado, there is the very first comment that I see here. It says, "Hi Amado, how do you like the sign I put up on my IG page?" And that's from Frostzilla. I'm not sure if you know who that is or not, but they must have tagged you or FiGPiN in something. So if you have a chance later to go take a look what that is.
If Frostzilla does not ring a bell, she's the one that has the lightning clouds all over her ceiling that flash, and then she has the FiGPiN logo that she got from Flap.
That's very cool. Yep. But we just want to we want to welcome Frostzilla, Frankenstein, Will Reimer, Jared, Soundwarp, Gypsteezy, Pin Panda, Charles Ling. He's here for Leaks, Amado, just to let you know.
I know him.
Yep. He says, "Is this where I come for leaks?" That's what Charles is asking. Queen Nerd, Baruto, Midnight Geek, Professor FiGPiN, Getty Up. Guys, welcome to the show. Chris Sherman, the Poptimus UK. It is 2:30 in the morning there. So thank you for watching from the UK.
That's dedication right there.
Yep. So guys, if you like what we're doing and are going to enjoy this show, please make sure you're hitting the like button for us as well as the subscribe button.
I'm still in shock over this thing.
I'm still tripping out. I don't even know what to do with myself right now.
Oh man.
The thing I want to know is, was it wrapped in paper then bubble wrap?
It was. It had.
It was in a box like this.
In a
like
box.
A thin cardboard, and then it had the bubble wrap over it. Yeah.
Wow, Pins on Fire.
Yeah, they
always have the fire. They do some awesome stuff. Of course, follow all the things and register for their notifications. I think it was every Monday, but I think I've been seeing more than just Monday drops lately.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of great things. So,
well, great. Well, without further ado, shall we get to interviewing some people and see what on earth is happening in the FiGPiN world?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's elephant in the room, right?
Go ahead, John.
Well, Amado, I'm not sure if you've seen if you know Steven or not, but I think he's trying to send a message with his dynamic background, just in case you haven't read it. So I think Steven's looking for more Street Fighter pins, possibly.
Is that what those are? more of those Hello Kitty mashups, right?
Yep, there you go. Well, he has a Chun-Li shirt on, but I like the dynamic background, Steven. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So Steven, let's hop right into it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you started collecting, how did you start pop culture pin collectors? Give us the 411.
Sure. First things first, thank you guys for having me on. Here's a public shout out to Pins on Fire. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have one of my non-FiGPiN grails. So thank you guys again. And then thank you everyone in the community. I don't know Taylor personally, but I know a few years back, I was hospitalized, and if it wasn't for community donations, things wouldn't have ended as well, or I say ended, but they were a blessing, and I appreciate the help. I know you guys didn't know me personally, but seeing that outreach for Taylor, it's awesome. So
that was a very, very awesome and generous thing the community did. Amazing to see, and I'm glad that the same support was given to you when needed.
Yeah,
100%.
So, without further ado, guys, I've been collecting pins since 2005. My memory's terrible for most things, but I actually do recall and have my very first pins I ever collected. And there's a bit of a theme that goes with it. Maybe you guys will figure out before too long. And with my dynamic background, this is kind of a pain. I'm going to be honest. Can you guys see this?
Hold on, let me go ahead and make you the larger image.
Okay.
It looks like Zelda or Link. I'm sorry.
It's Link.
Cool.
So I got Link and Mario and Samus. These were the very first pins I ever owned. I bought them in Nintendo World, New York, back in 2005. Had no interest in pins prior. I didn't really buy any other notable merch while I was there. I was kind of overwhelmed, but I saw these and I was like, man, I kind of have to have those. I couldn't really explain why, but I was like, man, these are kind of awesome. They're small, they're portable, they look great. I had to have them, and I haven't let them go. So, still have these guys. Literally a few months later, my family, we were, in a rough situation, and we had some family help us evacuate from Hurricane Katrina to Virginia Beach, where my cousin lived. He was in the Navy. And while we were there, American Red Cross hosted us. But we had a stipend to spend to, make our stay comfortable. And I got this pin. It might be hard to see, but so this is my fourth pin, and this was my ticket to a Journey concert. They had a Journey concert on the beach. It was $35, and I had it covered in my stipend. And I was like, you know what? Let's do this. I'm displaced, not a lot to do. Let's do it. So I have the first four pins I ever owned right there. And flash forward, over the years I collected promotional pins here and there, pre-ordered video games, got pins, stuff like that. But really, it started to kind of go somewhere in 2015 when I went to Disney, or Disney was part of it, and I got these pins. You guys can see them.
I see Steamboat Willie. I can't tell the other ones.
It's Bianca and Bernard from The Rescuers.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
Bernard.
So these are some of my favorite pins from Disney. And then also, it could have been that same year. It might have been the next year. But I also got, and I know you guys have seen these. These guys. Let's see.
Oh,
where are we
the
at?
fighters.
Yes.
I'm looking. Yeah, I'm on a mobile device, so I'm kind of hard to position these on the camera at the moment, so I apologize.
No worries. Those are the Street Fighter ones, though, right? Raikou,
Yep.
Or who is that one?
Ryu and Chun-Li.
Ryu, there you go. I say it wrong.
And for those of you who know me, I'm a big Chun-Li collector of pins. This was probably my very first Chun-Li pin. So, and
Now,
once again, if you notice if you notice a theme, all of the pins so far, most of them have been figural pins. They've been, they're not emblems, they're not, busts. They're the full figure of the characters.
yeah.
If you see where I'm going with this.
I assume by Amado's smile, he's liking the lead up to what you're going to go and share next.
So what would you have to ask, Battle? Sorry.
Oh, basically, like you said, up until that point, you hadn't really collected or had any interest. What was it about the pin, especially like the Rescue Down Under? Why were those ones that caught your eye, or what pulled you to them?
Well, like I said, I collected pins. I didn't seek out pins, and of course, I went through a Funko phase, like many of us. That phase is behind me. I don't know. I was actually, I knew about Disney pin collecting for a while, but I like pins, but it wasn't until I was there that I was just overwhelmed with the sheer volume of pins that they had to offer. But I'll be honest, I'm picky with my pins, and not every pin was to my taste. But I was like, man, this is awesome. I have so many pins to choose from. But my favorite ones were figural pins, ones that covered the whole character. because honestly, some of them get a little overly ornate and kind of, like I said, not to my taste. But I like them. They were simple and they represented the character well. And then let's see.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Steven. I'm sorry to cut you off. So Amado, this one's actually for you, and I want to get to it before the chat keeps going. And I know that we haven't even talked about Ultra yet, but someone's asking, can they purchase the Ultra with other pins, in particular an NBA Chase pin?
I don't even understand what that means.
So like if they put the Ultra in their cart, can they go ahead and add other items to the cart, or is Ultra going to be the only thing that will be shipped separate, in that order?
And specifically Chase pins.
Do you want the honest answer, or do you want
the
answer they want to hear?
I want the honest answer, because I don't want them to go ahead and order something and then them not be able to get.
Yeah, like the honest answer is we have yet to see what's going to happen tomorrow with the app and the influx of people coming to the app to do this thing. So if someone decides that tomorrow, when the Ultra drops, is the time to start testing all these outlier kind of scenarios in the app of like, maybe I'll throw some accessories, maybe I'll try a coupon mint. That's like a guaranteed way to probably screw up the process for your Ultra purchase. That's the honest answer. Can someone try that? Go ahead, try it. We'll learn from it. They'll learn from it, but I don't know what that lesson will be. That will be learned.
All right. So if let me see, Jason, if you want to try not getting an Ultra tomorrow, go ahead and try to get the NBA Chase with the Ultra tomorrow.
I don't like. I'm sorry if I'm being blunt here, but I don't know why you would want to risk the chances
to save on shipping costs.
We're cheap.
Yeah. The Ultra, just okay. I mean, I feel bad for Steven because like he was kind of at the kind of the best part of the story here, and we cut him off. Like, do you want to finish that? And I could be more than happy to dive into.
Yep. Go ahead, Steven.
Yeah.
What's the next pin that you're going to go ahead and show us? Because I know I heard some more rustling there.
Oh, you're good. I was just going to say, actually, to back up from that, I meant to say this from the start. I've got a giveaway planned for you guys tonight, for y'all. If you can, I have an Instagram page. It's pop_culture_pin collector. So pop culture pin collectors on Instagram. You don't have to follow me, but the giveaway does involve that page. So if you want to have Instagram loaded, have it ready.
And let's also drop a follow for Steven here.
Yeah, appreciate it. But yeah, have it ready, and the giveaway will involve it a little later in the stream.
Very
awesome.
Cool.
So the call to action: go to Instagram, follow Pop Culture Pin Collectors, no spaces, _. Go follow it now so that you can be ready for it. Now, is that your only plug? Do you have any other social media or something that you like to check out?
Yeah, I'll get into that shortly.
Roger that.
But back where I was, and I'll try not to carry on too long here. So 2015 was kind of a big deal for me for pin collecting, but it's not when I wouldn't say it's when it quite exploded, but it was it was getting there. So 2017, I think, there were 3 pins. And one particular event that I attended that all sort of my pin collection just exploded from there on out. I attended E3 2017, and prior to the show, they had a stream where Reggie Fils-Aimé, former president of Nintendo of America, was wearing this pin, and I made it my solemn duty to get this pin. And I was flying solo at E3, and it was my first time ever, and I've also, honestly, I'm from a small town. I've never been to an event with 165,000 people in attendance before. So that was, it was a little overwhelming at first. And I didn't get in the longer lines because they were like 3 to 5 hour waits. I was by myself. I digress. But there was a great pin collecting scene. So that's what I did. I played games and I got pins and I had a blast.
Nice.
I did not find this pin But it found me, and I am ashamed to say how it found me.
I have to know. Tell me.
I was asking the folks at the Nintendo booth how I get this pin, and they said unfortunately you had to be, I think, media personnel invited to interview executives at Nintendo, and that they were all out of the pins anyhow. And after E3 was over, final day, someone approached me because I was just hanging out. I was letting all the crowds flood out of the building because I was like, yeah, I'm not battling this. I found a corner and I sat there and just relaxed until everyone got out of the building. And some lady approached me and says, like, hey, weren't you looking for one of these pins? And she was one of the ladies working the booth. She's like, I'll sell you one for $20. And I'm like,
Done.
I was like, done. Yeah, I don't know that it was completely honest on how she got the pin, considering she's the one who told me they were all gone. But it was almost a weird kind of fate that I sat there and decided not to leave with the crowd, or else this woman would have never found me.
Very cool.
So
That is
but anyway,
so awesome.
Another pin that really got my habit going was this Amaterasu pin from Udon. This is one of the last pins I would ever let go of in my collection. Like, this one will probably go to the grave with me. One of my absolute favorites. I saw it advertised on Twitter that they were doing it for like Penny Arcade Expo or something, or maybe Comic-Con. But anyways, a fellow FiGPiN member, which I'll get to, of a community, helped grab me this pin. So actually, this pin was probably the third one of this set that I'm going to discuss. But this showed me that pins could be more than just a promotional pin. A lot of promotional pins are cheap. Sometimes they're printed. They're quick and easy made. They're not like super highly detailed. But this one got me excited. But then there was also this game called Tekken 7, and I'm a casual fighting game fan. I'm terrible at it. But it had a pre-order bonus. A Fig pin? What is that? And at the time I was like, I like pins. What's a Fig pin? I was like, I've got to check this out. I'm curious. So of course I still have this guy. So this will be my first Fig pin. I was not disappointed.
Dang. He is such a cool pin, isn't he?
Yeah. So between those three pins, it kind of, really, that's where my habit really took off. So.
Stephen, that's just for what it's worth. I don't have it handy, but like our business cards, each team member gets to choose which character art they put on their business card, and that's the one that's been on my card for years now.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
And
it's
why is that?
Well, I really like the art, and I just like how he was drawn. I think that Tekken set was really the thing that kicked off the style. And I always joked around too that he kind of looks like my grandfather. We have this like old picture of my grandfather has that same kind of like really serious look where he's just kind of cutting you in half with his stare. So it's just it's a cool
tough looking pin. Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the stand doesn't come off this one. The posts are loose, and I'm afraid they are going to fall off. If you take this off, these the posts fall over. So this, I did wear this pin for a little while. So
you have the pin serial number at least, or
I do.
Oh, okay. I thought like you meant like you've never taken it off and you don't even know what the serial number is.
Oh no, I have. I just don't like taking it off often. So it just stays on now that I've got the serial.
That is awesome.
Very nice. So that's your very first introduction into FiGPiN. What does that look like for your collection now? Like how many FiGPiNs are you at?
Here's my biggest shame of the night in this stream. Maybe half of my FiGPiNs are registered in the app, so I've never hand counted them, so I'm not sure about how many I have. I know I don't have as many as most others, but I've always been more about the pin than I have been about the app, and I like the app, and every now and then boosting's a lot of fun, but in the end, I love the pin, I love the characters, I love the details. They're some of the absolute best pieces of my pin collection. So maybe one day I'll finally register them all and give you a good answer of how many pins I've got.
That's cool. So, I mean, like, what, that being your first pin, is it your favorite pin, or do you have a favorite pin outside of Hayachi?
So favorite pin, where do I start?
I feel like you're like taking a page out of Battle's book with like just grabbing stuff out of the ether and pulling pins out.
Man, I wish I could do that still.
All right, so Ahsoka, and I see is that Gundam Wing? I can't.
Yep, Gundam for sure.
Yeah, there's glare. I apologize. So yeah, Gundam, but I've got various other favorite pins here with me too. I'm actually a pretty big fan of this Moxie pin. I'd love to see more like it. The black and white with a touch of color, and the colors complemented by the back card. Fantastic. I saw this pin, I knew the pin was coming because I actually pre-ordered mine from a GameStop, but I didn't know what it looked like. But then when I saw it in person, I was like, oh man, this is fantastic. And I wish I did more like this.
I want to interrupt you there for a second because this is something that we internally with Moxie is a great example. We kind of get bounced around a lot in the community. Is a pin like that a lazy variant, or is it a beautiful piece of art?
It is a beautiful piece of art.
And I'm not like looking for compliments here or anything, because some of the, in my opinion, some of the pins that really put us on the map were those original bait pins, or the original New York Comic-Con pins from I forget the name of the it was the Batman one, and those are just line art pins, like black and white pins. We're going to be talking about Ultra. That's line art pins. In the app, if you guys look at the backgrounds in a lot of the screens, we actually have that line art of the pins. So from very early on, like all the way back to Heihachi, the one you were showing us before, like personally, I fell in love with the line art of FiGPiN. Not even like the color, just the quality of the line work. It's almost like tattoo quality, like it's something that you could ink. And so whenever I hear people say like, oh, that's just like a lazy variant, I'm like, no, it's actually, in a lot of ways, it's actually showing the product off even better. It's showing what the product is in a nicer way. Now, if we do like a white and black Gudetama, yeah, that's a lazy variant. It'd be a funny variant, but the way that those pins look is so pure to what FiGPiN is about, because it is about the art. It's like, it's the art stupid, right? It's just so much a focus on the art, and I'm glad that at least some people think that.
I gotta say, my heart was broken when Dan revealed the terrible truth to me that the Marcus Phoenix FiGPiN you guys revealed on Instagram, you were teasing it, and it was the end of his chainsaw bayonet, the gun.
Yep,
the assault rifle. That. It was black and white, but with some blood splatter on the chainsaw part of his gun. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to do a black and white variant of this with a touch of blood on the end of the gun. And I was like, this is going to be amazing. And then he's like, no, that was just the pre-colored pin. He's like, we have finished it. No, I'm like, no.
No, we actually have some black and white ones coming up, and we're doing some of that little kind of color splash on black and whites, which is very, very, very slick. So we're all fans of it, and I think you'll definitely see more of it out there.
I know you probably heard on the show prior that originally I was like, oh, I'm all about the color. The ones black and white don't necessarily stand out to me, but it wasn't until saw them in person. I actually just recently got that Astro Boy set, and man, they just look so good.
It's jewelry. At that point, it's jewelry. It's like it's elevated to something higher, and you just look at it in a different way. So, anyways, I'm sorry to interrupt there.
No.
So, Stephen, what would you say is a pin that when you at first saw it, you're like, I'm not too sure about it, but then when you got it in hand, you're like, this is amazing?
Okay, and I'm ready for that one. So, okay, let me preface this with, I played Warcraft 3 back in the day, and I enjoyed it. I can't recall whether or not I ever finished it. But yeah, I was never a big fan of this character. I didn't appreciate him more until I was much older. But when you guys announced you were doing a Thrall FiGPiN, I was like, oh, that'd be cool to have. And then I got it in person, and I was blown away by the details on this pin. Obviously, in my current streaming situation, it's not ideal for seeing this thing. But I tell everyone watching now, this is one of the best FiGPiNs they've ever made. It's gorgeous. The details are fantastic, and it represents the character really well. So I would definitely say this one really surprised me.
Awesome.
Definitely. Awesome
Steven, what's that pin number?
Thrall is 212.
Some of the ones, like you were saying on the Thrall, the way they got into detail and were putting variant details on like their clothing, and like I know on Luke Skywalker and Tauntaun, the Tauntaun had the hair pieces. Like it was just so incredibly detailed.
Then
There you go.
on the topic of Thrall, Kerrigan, FiGPiN stepped it up to 10 more levels. Like I've still never seen a FiGPiN that looks better than Kerrigan. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like this pin blows me away every time I see it.
I can tell you the amount of pain that went into making those Blizzard pins is matched by the kind of the amount of detail and quality in them. They were a hard set to make. Maybe not so much Mercy from that last wave, but Kerrigan, Arthas, and who's the guy from New York? You guys help me out.
I know.
I thought you guys were like all FiGPiN experts.
We know it. We have it on the wall.
Or is it that you know the name but you don't want to pronounce it because
it's Tyrael from Diablo.
Yes, that's how you pronounce it.
That's the one. Thank you for our guest saving the show. He has the all-knowing.
Well,
the gold plating.
Diablo, so.
Yeah, the gold plating on that one was amazing.
If you haven't guessed from all my pins, I am a gamer, so love me some video game pins. Hint. So
you probably ordered the Spider-Man FiGPiN with that game.
Oh yes, and I forgot to include it in the stream, but I actually have the Kratos and Atreus pin, not official FiGPiN, but it says CMD that Eric had done. I meant to bring it on the show because not too many people seem to have it or know about it. And it's also soft enamel, which I don't know that I've seen another CMD pin in soft enamel, but I really like the pin a lot. And it was for pre-ordering God of War Digital Deluxe, very much akin to the Spider-Man pin.
Dang, that's awesome. You will please post a picture of them on your Pop Culture Pin Collectors, right?
Yeah, and actually that God of War pin is on my Pop Culture Pin Collectors page.
Excellent. I'm going to check that out.
On Instagram.
So if there's one thing that you would like to go out and see done differently with FiGPiN, what, and obviously I'm putting you on the spot here because you have Amado listening.
What do you got to say there, Steven? What are we doing wrong?
I don't know. I don't know what's behind me. I'm not sure.
No, that wave actually we had a lot of internal conversations about that one because it's crossing a long it's a long cross section through that property's history, but the way we decided to kind of position it is that it's going to give us a chance to dive into each kind of story arc or into each kind of like generation. So we definitely want to make more. We have so many properties right now and so many licenses. We are like, the advice they tell you, like, don't go grocery shopping when you're hungry. Just to end up like overfilling your shopping cart. And so, we're in that situation with all these licenses and properties. We just want to make everything. And those in particular, the Gundam pins are absolutely something that we love and we want to pursue. But everything in time, Transformers as well.
Awesome. Good pin.
When I saw your Transformers fig pins in person, there was no doubt in my mind that the Gundam fig pins would look amazing. And this is another one of my many favorite fig pins here. So
and you'll see, Transformers are actually queued up in development right now. So we'll see another wave of Transformers, and we're going to start going beyond the TV series. So it'll be a nice line. I mean, this is a journey that we're all going to go on together. It's not, we're not going to make every character ever in 1 year, because that's really what people are asking us for. Like, can you make every character ever in the next 6 months, please? And so we have to just go on this journey together. And as we go on this journey, we try to get more collectors on board, of course, to grow the business, because at the end of the day, we are a business. But I think in growing the community and growing the customer base, it enables everyone that already is a collector to see more value in their collection, because what you have starts to get phased out by way of retirement. And as the community grows, yesterday's, Iverson of 100, whatever, I don't remember the run size, 170 or something, is the next 500, and the 500 is the next 1,000, and the next 1,000 is the next 2,000 piece runs. And
crazy.
I know some people are going to be like, get out of here, that's stupid, but it's not. The fact is, if we get to a certain size and our typical pins are in the 30, 40, 50,000 piece range, a run of 1,000 or 2,000 is actually very rare. And again, I know some people get sour about that, but like, that's, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way.
I'm also in the minority of people that if every fig pin had a 50,000 count run, I would still buy it if it's a pin I love. Rarity doesn't matter to me. If I like the pin, I want it. So
it's definitely a double-edged sword. It's like, okay, I want it because it's the LE, but at the same time, I would just be just as happy of having it a common and having it in my collection without having to pay the market.
And like, we have to, now that I've stepped up on the soapbox here, I think it's important to understand something about our business. And this is really, I wish more people were listening so that more people can hear this. The vast majority of fig pins that we sell, the vast majority, are sold to people who don't collect fig pins, if that makes sense. So when we make 30,000 or 40,000 pieces of a pin, the majority of those sold, like we sold those, they're out there.
Yeah.
The majority of those pins, believe it or not, are not in our kind of fig pin community. They're just with people who like that character, who didn't really know what it is and bought it and picked it up. So if you're walking by and you see Optimus Prime and you're like, oh, cool, Optimus Prime, and you buy it and you never buy a fig pin again, those are the majority of FiGPiN customers. I want to say that again. I'm going to say it a bunch of times. Those are the majority of FiGPiN customers. Those are the majority of people that are financing the growth of this company, that are paying our bills, that are allowing us to get more licenses. And so I'm not saying that we're going to like forget our community and just focus on these other people, but what we have to do is service both sides simultaneously. Service the masses, the people that like these characters and just want to buy this thing, whatever it is, when they walk past it. And of course, service the community with the rare stuff, with the really high art pieces, with things like Ultras. Ultra is not going to be sold in Walmart. It's not going to be sold like Ultra is the exact opposite of that 40,000 piece run that's available everywhere in the world. Ultra is specifically for a very narrow cross section of people. As a matter of fact, I was having a back and forth with a customer just the other day who's very upset about that the fact that we're not making Ultra available to anyone that wants it. And I was like, listen, I'm really sorry you feel that way, but from the beginning, that's what this thing was designed for. It was designed for a very specific group of people that use the app, and it's going to be sold in the app. No, but that's unfair. You're alienating. I'm like, okay, then I'm alienating them, and they can take a hike because the Ultra is for these people who are in the app, who behave a certain way, who do a certain thing. I mean, even the logo, the badge of the Ultra, is the freaking icon of the app. You know, like it's right there. It's like, that's the app icon, you know? So again, we have to service all these different types of communities. You know, when we're putting out, and you guys see the numbers, like we're the only people in the world who are crazy enough to show production run sizes. When you guys see the numbers of like Disney pin trading in the parks, and then you see the cohort rates, it's a perfect demonstration of that. The majority of these pins that are going out there are going to casual buyers who are like, oh, cool, you know, Orange Bird. And that's it. And they're never coming back to FiGPiN. Of course, we'd want them to become like mega FiGPiN collectors, but that's just not how the world works.
Yeah.
So we have to do things like Ultra. We have to do things like con exclusives. We have to do things like Disney park exclusives. And we have to do the common kind of pins that go out and sell to the world. You know, I think we have to actually add, but I think we actually have to add like one more run type to FiGPiNs, which is the evergreen stuff, which is, we're just going to make this forever. Like we're going to keep making this pin forever until someone, you know, until like we go out of business or something. In other words, it doesn't follow the retirement rule, because we believe,
was Dragon Ball.
Well, I think the evergreen are probably going to be unlicensed stuff, because it'll give us the freedom to make it forever, right? Because we're not bound by, you know, licensing is very, you know, it's very structured. It costs money, but if you're selling it, you're paying it. So that's solved. But it's very structured. You have a beginning, a middle, and you have to renew it. The more you sell, when you go to renew, they're like, ooh, you know, like you guys are doing really well. Let's kind of change the nature of this deal. So I think something like evergreen run type is most likely going to be unlicensed stuff. So I know I kind of just steered it off the cliff here, but
well, I do think it's interesting to hear those perspectives, because kind of just like Steven said, I know I was in the exact same boat. I did not have a clue what FiGPiN was. I had never heard of them. I was years behind starting collecting. I was walking around looking for other stuff. I saw that Dragon Ball pin. I was like, that thing is sweet. I bought it because I thought the pin itself was awesome. And it wasn't until, you know, a couple weeks later, I am dumb enough to go on and start looking for communities, and then met John, and then he's like, hey, go, you know, and it just
start watching MHA, right?
Yeah. So it's cool that's made that you're aware of those options, and that you not only can't work for the one-offs how I started, and then it's like, okay, well, I've been in for a little while now, and now I get an ultra chance. Like that's pretty sweet.
So, and Amado, I mean, we'll go ahead and jump into Ultra with you, but I've seen at least 2, possibly 3 questions of almost the same question, and it's you know, my brother and I were both collectors, but we live in the same house. My husband just reached 350,000. He has his own account, but we obviously live in the same house. Are they going to be able to order an Ultra for each account, even though it's going to the same address?
So I want to actually turn that back to you guys, because you know the terrain that we're dealing with here. You know, we don't say like one per customer per household because we're jerks. You know what I mean? Like it's not like some arbitrary thing we said. It's because when we do drops, we'll see someone put in 10, 20, 30 orders all going to the same house, and then they're like clever, and you know, it's like wait, there are no Bobs here right now, okay, and it's like Robert, Bob, Bobby, you know, and like same last name, to like all the same address, and we look at each other and we say, you know what, it's easy to have an attitude of whatever, we'll take your money, you know, like if someone wants to buy 20, we'll take your money, cool, and that's the end of it. But we know that, you know, going back to this idea of having to service different types of buyers and collectors and fans, we know that we shouldn't be doing that. That those extra 19 pieces should probably be made available to other collectors that are genuinely trying to buy this thing, right? So we have this balancing act we try to do between stopping people from abusing the system and servicing people like you're saying who are too genuine. Like I know a few actually. They live in the same house. They're both collectors, and how are they going to deal with that? Thankfully, the process of verification or validation is human. It's still human. Like it's going to be us looking through the orders, and and so we're just going to do judgment calls there. If someone has like six orders going to one house, and it's like Susie and Billy and Timmy and Bobby, and like it's a little harder to believe than a husband-wife scenario.
Absolutely.
And really that's like the best that we could do. I mean, we're not like magicians. We can't go into people's minds and really understand what's going on. That's the best that we could do.
Sounds good. So and Stephen, I'm going to actually ask you a question because this was just asked. How did you come up with your app name, Mr. MeeMee?
Oh, Mr. MeeMee?
Yep.
So that dates back to high school. I had two teachers in the same grade. One just called me Mr. Me because he called everyone Mr. or Miss. And then I had another teacher that loved to call me MeeMee. And then there you are. I've been Mr. MeeMee ever since.
Very cool.
So,
and Amado, I'll keep going. And Alex, if you're looking at the chat, go ahead and just jump in with any questions that you see that are cool.
I just opened up YouTube for like a split second. It's like, and I'm like, I'm going to close that browser.
Yeah, we'll take care of that for you, Amado. So we have one from Professor FiGPiN. So Professor FiGPiN, thank you for watching and supporting us as always. The question that he has is, why did the FiGPiN team choose a specific criteria for the Ultra, the 350 collection power, the 2K collector score, the 20 unlocks, and will the criteria increase exponentially in the future for any other Ultras that you would go to be releasing?
Perfect question. It's actually on the list of things that I kind of thought would be asked. There are a lot of people who are combing through our data, and a lot of numbers have floated out there. How many people qualified? Is it 700? Is it 900? Is it 1,100 people? And you have to remember that a lot of this stuff is new to us. This isn't like our 17th Ultra that we're releasing. This is the first one we're releasing, so we don't quite know how the community is going to react to it. So my thinking, and a lot of these numbers came from me. So if anyone's mad, you can just blame me. My thinking is that, let's say it's a 1,000 piece run. Let's say there's 1,000 people that qualify. I know that 1,000, it's not 100% will buy. We know that it's a smaller percentage. So the whole point of this first run is to not make it so impossible to get that it turns into a bad experience for most collectors. We actually want it to be a very generous first time out. We want to, and I have friends who are like, "Oh, you're screwing it up. It should be 1 million plus." But the reality is, when we started Ultra and when we started talking about app requirements over 1.5 years ago, the reality is we didn't have this monster called what?
Boosters.
Boosters, yeah. No, boosters. Like we didn't, like boosting wasn't part of the dynamic, right? So someone with 500,000 points, that was kind of like a hard fought 500,000 points, right? Yep. And so today, someone with 500,000 points, it could have been a hard fought 500,000 points. It could have been a differently acquired kind of 500,000 points. And I'm not going to say bad, it's just different. So, what we have to do is, one, release Ultra because we're ready like a year late with it, and two, release it in such a way where it gives us enough information and understand the terrain, where as we release additional ultras, we know how to, we'll get to know how to do it better, right? So 350K was the number I came up with, which was, if you're like an honest FiGPiN fan that got into this thing, but you haven't gotten into the whole boosting scene, 350K is like pretty darn respectable number. Like that's a hard fought number. If you're not into the boosting scene, if you're into the boosting scene, you could do that with like 12 pins. Right?
Yeah, without it,
I'm
it's
exaggerating,
40,
but
50, 40,
Yeah.
50, 60 pins. If not.
And so that's my logic, is like give people a chance who've gotten into this thing, give them a chance to work hard and get the ultra without having the boost energy behind you. The collector score, that we're going to do a lot with that in upcoming releases, meaning we're going to do more account verification. We're going to do like longevity. Like longevity sounds weird, but if you've been in the app for more than 2 years, for example, right? So what does that do for all the people who are kind of frustrated that we've made it too easy now? We just say the next ultra, for example, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but for example, we could say your app account has to be over 36 months old. So that now immediately, gives like the OG collectors a chance at getting something that others can't. So we're just gonna like keep playing with these levers, and we're gonna take feedback from you guys and try it on future ultras. Like ultra is not going away.
So, Steven, since you just said you need some feedback, can I put you on the spot and say?
Hold on a second. Hold on.
That's it.
Amado,
I'm done.
oh my gosh! I didn't have you on speaker to go ahead and have a close up of that. Battle, why did you have to say anything? We almost had a closer picture.
I'm sure someone will figure it out and find it. Like ultra is a thing for us. We love it. Everyone that has seen it loves it. And it took us too long to get this thing going, but we're putting the gas on ultra, and we think it's going to be a really healthy part of the FiGPiN experience. And again, it's part of the app. If you don't like that, FiGPiN buyer, I'm really sorry. I really am. I'm sorry. but if you want to get the ultra, you have to be in the app. That's just the nature of the product.
So, and Amado, if we can back up for a second, can you talk about
like lift the page up again? You mean?
No. Can we talk about what the ultra is? So, like the three components, how they go ahead and they intermingle with each other inside the app. And then what are the app benefits and how do they actually work in the app? Do you mind sharing what that looks like?
No, not at all. Not at all. So this is going to be the ultra. Like you're going to receive it in a box. Because we ship these around to test the packaging to see that it's surviving transit. I'm doing unboxing here. So you're gonna get the ultra like this. What is the ultra? What are you're asking me? Like physically, what is it? What is it?
Yeah, I mean, so what? Yeah, what's
Sure.
the three? I know that you have the three pieces inside the box.
Sure. You have the pin. Okay. The pin is thicker. It's heavier. I think Charles had looked it up, but it's so much heavier than a regular pin because as you've heard, it's made out of what?
Copper.
So that in and of itself is it's just a much more premium product. It's not packaged in any special kind of. It's in the same FiGPiN box, the same PET box. It does have one of those premium backer cards like you've seen with the Disney theme parks. It's the only FiGPiN that has like varnish artwork on the backer card, so that's extra. That's like a nice little touch here. And so here, like if you see the box here, you'll see it's just this whole idea of the art going back to the line art, right? This whole idea that it's about the line art.
Yep.
And when we say line art, that's metal, like that's cut into the tool and molten metal injected, so it has value there, right?
Yep.
And so then you'll see this thing slides off, has this kind of cool blue color on the inside, and then you have the presentation there, the box. I'm not going to open it up because it's I think it'll be more fun for the community to discover this thing, but in here you have these three parts. One is the fader pin. 2 is this new concept that we're introducing, which is called, it's basically an app badge. And this first one is the FiGPiN Ultra badge. So I'll even show that to you. I just don't want to show you the full presentation because, like I said, it's something nice about you guys out there discovering it.
Yep. So Amado, and I know you have kids of yourself, and I do too. And I'm not sure if your kids are into YouTube and watching, people unbox things. Did you ever think you would actually be on YouTube unboxing something where people are watching this?
No, not at all. But it's, I hope I'm doing it right, because
you're doing great, man.
Yeah. So this is the badge, right? And like the box, there's a really subtle kind of thing there. So you see
that is amazing
there.
Yep.
Yeah. So you'll see a common theme, which is like black on black, right? It's and with gold obviously in there. So this is the first, and again, it's the same thickness. It's also copper. It also has a serial number on the back, which matches the serial number of the FiGPiN. This is going to be the first badge in the app. With many other badges coming down the road that reward the collector. So it's not like a logo pin. It's not like a FiGPiN logo pin. It's a badge that you get digitally, and then you can acquire physically. And then the last piece that I think most people haven't seen yet, because I know Charles put a picture of the badge, is this thing. So that's basically, this is like a solid piece of metal. This thing is like heavier than a whole FiGPiN in a box, and it's basically the same thing as it's the Ultra power base, right? So we have our power bases, and
yep.
This is the Ultra power base. So it's electroplated solid metal piece. This too has a matching serial number on the back. And so why did we do this? Because it was about presenting the whole thing in one set, which is Vader. We know people like to display in the box, on the stand, on the post. We know a lot of people like to display it on these power bases. So we thought a power base for the Ultra would be cool. And then I think it would be great to talk about the digital side of the Ultra experience, because these things tie into that. Yeah.
If I may, real quick. So if I chose to keep my Vader in the box, will the badge pin fit on an action stand and on the Ultra power base there, if I want to display it that way?
The badge pin is not designed to be displayed on the power base, right? The power base is for the pins, for FiGPiNs. I think you'll see some people coming up with like really clever ways of displaying the badges, but I think it's important to remember that the badge is really the beginning of a whole series of badges that we're going to be coming out with. So I would focus more on how do you display a set of badges the way you display FiGPiN logo pins, than trying to figure out how to like put this badge along with the power base. I just want to show you the card here. Same thing. The fact that Star Wars let us do their logo in gold is pretty neat too. So do you want to jump into the app? Like, does that cover the physical part of the product?
Yeah, and I think that does. I mean, I know that you and I had spoke about a week ago, and it seemed that there was some confusion about with the blog posts of what you're actually getting. So I think that definitely goes ahead and kind of clears that up.
It was strange to me that some people thought we were selling just a digital product, for example. And maybe shame on us for not making that obvious, but we sell pins after all.
Yep.
So
You do? What the FiGPiN?
What the FiGPiN?
And so now we put this guy back.
Very awesome.
It has the future QR code, which is gonna have some really neat kind of functionality, and the run size is printed on on the
Very
other
cool.
side, 1 to 1,000. So that's Ultra. As a courtesy to you, John, I'm gonna just show this to you real quick. Is this an internal document? Not final, pending licensor approval, but I just wanted to show the community that we're betting on Ultra. It's not like some one-off kind of side project. We have a lot of things that we're exploring for Ultra. And we want to make sure that Ultra represents every general kind of category or every general license that we have out there. It's not like we're going to release these in the next 3 months either. Ultra is going to have a slow cadence to it. It's going to give people a chance to build up their collection powers and use them. So
yep,
that's where we're going. When we talk about Ultra in the app, it goes back to those 4 concepts, right? And you've heard me talk about them before. Really simple in my mind. It's power to the pin, which means when you first unlock your Ultra, automatically gets 100 story points by way of the power to the pin card. So just out of the gate, your Ultra is like badass in terms of FiGPiN power.
Nice.
Power to the collector out of the gate with your collector badge, because that's the badge represents the collector and that you've acquired an Ultra. You've gone through what you had to go through to get the Ultra. And that badge represents an extra 1,500 collector score. And so as you guys know, in the boost economy, that's an extra 3 boosts to give away. So you're doubling your boosts out of the gate.
That's awesome.
So that's power to the collector. Power to the collection is really my favorite one, because your pins in your collection are the ones that enabled you to buy the Ultra. So it's a way for the Ultra to kind of like give its power back to the pins. And the metaphor is that, you take the power base and you click any other pin into that power base, and now that pin has Ultra power. Like that's the
cool.
the metaphor there. And so what's going to happen in the app is all of your pins in your collection will have a power to the collection card in it, and so you could choose which pin in your collection actually gets that extra 100-point boost. So I could show you real quick here what that looks like. Just waiting for my.
And as you're waiting for that, if I'm lucky enough to go ahead and get the Ultra, definitely know which pin I already have that being going towards. It's my my Black Widow chase with the Hot Topic lot. So
here you go. So I just got to cover some other stuff up. So you'll see my who's that guy? My Han Solo here. So you see the black capsule under him. That means he's been given Ultra power from my Ultra that's in this collection. So you'll see, I don't know if that's clear there, but it's 100 points that he got from that pin. Last one, which is probably going to take a few minutes to talk through, is power to the what? The community. Power to the community. Yeah. Sorry if I have like a 6-year-old and 9-year-old, and I'm still talking like that. Like power to the what? So
I know, community.
Power to the community it's this idea that if you got Ultra power, that you should be able to wield this power in the community somehow. And obviously we're riffing on Thanos and the snap from Avengers. So there's this story card called Snap. When you snap, when you flip the story card, what we say is you snap the unlock room. So from that moment of the snap, X number of people going forward will be issued the snap card in their pin that is making its way through the unlock room. And I know like my team's going to start texting me if I start saying anything wrong here. So I'm gonna open it up right here so that they could yell at me if I forget anything. So you snap the unlocker room, and the way that it determines how many people are affected by the snap is by the story score of that Ultra. So if you think about it, what is it going to be out of the gate, like approximately? You're going to have your 100 power to the pin. I mean, your 100 ultra card, right?
Yep.
You're going to have whatever story score you get with claim and launch, which we'll talk about in a bit. And then if you choose to be wise, you don't go like on day one snap to unlock room. You build up that ultra to have a higher story score because you could affect more people. So the higher your story score, the more people you affect. So why does that matter? Because your snap story score, when dust settles, is based on how many people you affected.
Wow.
So like Mickey's wall, if he snaps it, we're all could be screwed. It's gonna hit everyone, right? With this 24 million.
24 million has nothing to do with the snap. It's how much the ultra story score is, not
the
your
ultra.
entire connection.
Okay, I was gonna say if it was your collection power, then we're all.
Yeah. So if he, if Rick goes and like Rick is Mickey's Walt, like if he goes and snaps it with an ultra that he bought, the 20-something million points don't mean anything.
Okay.
It's about the ultra. It's about what your ultra does to the unlock room. And
gotcha.
So really it's, I know it sounds kind of like a little complicated, but it's really not. It's that you get an ultra, you can now go into this unlocker room and affect a whole bunch of people. How many people you can affect is really up to you because it depends on how much you want to build up that ultra's power by way of story score. And then the score of that story score card is going to be determined by how many people you affected. So now if we talk about the flip side, the people who received these story cards, what they get is it pops up and it says, hey, you've been snapped by, Mickey's Wall, right? What do you want to do? And you could choose to do nothing and your pin continues through the unlock room for the 24 hours and that's the end of it. And you'll actually, like it's a safe bet. Or if you choose to flip it, this is where I think it gets fun because you now have a 50-50 chance of getting your pin max boosted or zeroed out, we call it min boosted. And once that happens, you get, you leave the unlock room. So you can get min boosted and booted out of the unlock room or max boosted and booted out of the unlock room. Yeah.
So wait, if you, no matter what happens, that pin that you had in there, you chose to flip the card, it gets booted out of the locker room, good or bad.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Interesting.
Exactly. So it's like I see the gears turning because it's really a game. It's really a game when you think about it because now it's like what do you do? Do I want to be in the unlocker room when a snap happens with a pin that has 70 boosts? And do I want to risk that pin to get those 30? Or do I want to just send all my green pins in there, with like 1 or 2 boosts and kind of roll the dice with them? There's another dynamic that you want to consider, which is if a few people get together and snap the unlock room at the same time, now you as someone that has your pin in there, you're going to get multiple snap cards on your pin. So you flip the first one and it max boosts. What do? Do you leave? Because if you flip another one, you'll earn more points because each time you flip, you'll get points for that too. Because that snap card issues you points.
Well, so let's say the 5 of us have an ultra. We go ahead and we snap the unlocker room all at the same time. Whatever that impact is, all of those people would receive 5 snap cards, and possibly one. Well, not one pin couldn't risk. Well, yeah, I guess one. Well, but if it boots it out of the unlocker room, how they're able to flip it, it would still show up in their on their main page then to go ahead and flip another snap card.
Yeah,
and does that negate the first if it was a positive 100 boost? Does that negate that?
Yeah, because
so
each
you're
time
taking a chance of possibly in my scenario, you're taking a chance of possibly having 500 points added to a pin if you were successful.
No, No, you can only max out at 100 because it's based on the boost system, right?
Okay.
The boost is always is 100. But think of it this way: to use your scenario, 5 of your friends collude, and they, you go in there and you snap the unlock room at the same time, and I'm in there, I'm minding my own business, and boop, 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 I get 5 snap cards. Those 5 snap cards, if I flip all 5 of them, I'll get 5 points. I get 5 points for each time I flip.
Oh, okay.
I'm confirming that because
so the snap card itself. So the snap card itself has its own assigned points.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's really the kind of the lure of the snap card is, if it's like win, lose, win, you're going to get max boosted plus 25 points.
Yeah. Yep.
If it's like lose, win, lose, you're going to get min boosted, but still max out the
snap points.
The snap points. Yeah, snap points. Let's call them that for now. So again, I think it's a game. It's kind of like this fun game to have in the unlock room, and we want to do more stuff in the unlock room because the unlock room has kind of become our community. It's become our port of entry for a lot of collectors. It's the first place they go to see what's going on in there, and we think that in the app you're going to have a community section, and the unlock room is one of the places. And so unlock room, leaderboards, battle arena. So that's the kind of general structure that we're looking to build.
So I there's a couple of other things that I want to talk about, and one of them is so the 180 days locked to your accounts. Is that once you actually put that pin onto your account, or I've ordered a pin through FiGPiN, through the app, I've ordered the Ultra through the app, that pin that I've purchased is automatically, so I can't go ahead and give that pin to someone else. I can't try to sell that pin, or is it only when the pin is unlocked and then it's attached to your?
It's just like it's just like every other pin that we make.
Okay. I just asked because I know there was some questions about that. I figured I knew the answer. I just wanted to go ahead and make sure that I was right.
Yeah, you could get the Ultra. You could buy the Ultra tomorrow and receive it on Friday and sell it.
Okay.
We're not going to, we're not going to men aren't going to come out of helicopters and
the FiGPiN Mafia started. Remember that?
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
They're for real. They'll get you no matter where you go.
Yep.
But also a new feature with this is also that it's locked on your account for 6 months, correct? Once you unlock it.
That's right. That's
awesome.
So I think it would be good to, unless there are any Ultra questions left, I think it would be good to. Actually, I just want to talk about 2 more Ultra things that are relevant to tomorrow's sale.
Perfect.
One of them is that we decided to pull the signature requirement from the shipping, and I'm sure there's going to be 101 conspiracies as to why, but the bottom line is signature requirement is very expensive, and we don't think the reason we wanted to do it is because we always end up with some people trying to abuse the system. But what we decided today is we don't want to punish the whole community for a very, very small group of people that try to abuse the system. It doesn't make sense to do that. That being said, we do have to, someone has to pay shipping on this thing. And so we're going with a $10 flat rate shipping on the Ultra. And we're actually going to figure this out tomorrow, whether it's UPS or USPS, because there's this weird dynamic when you ship from California where if you're shipping to the West Coast, it's cheaper USPS, but if you're shipping to the East Coast, it's cheaper UPS. So we just want to make sure we're using the best service, the most trackable service, so we dropped the signature requirement, and it's going to be $10 flat rate shipping, because I saw a lot of support tickets where people were asking about that.
Yeah, and there have been a lot of questions. That was actually one of my other questions, because there was several people asking about that. Was what is shipping, and then obviously about the shipping cover. So in essence, the total cost of the pin is going to be $95. So $85 for the actual pin, plus $10 shipping. And then you on your end, you're going to figure out what makes sense if it's USPS or UPS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, most likely it'll be the same service across the board because it just becomes easier to handle any shipping issues. And then I want to just answer one other question, which was why Vader? Because some people had very astutely noticed that we were releasing an ultra of a pin that doesn't exist yet, right? Because if you guys remember in the beginning, we always said that ultra is going to be us taking a pin that we've done and giving it this ultra treatment. The truth is we've done that pin already. It's just we haven't released the pin, right? You know, because Vegeta that was the plan. Like he was going to be the first ultra, the Vegeta 9000 pin. But we had issues with the licensure on it, so we kind of switched it in the end, and Vader came out on top, and he just cut the line with the full color Vader. And it's really that simple. There's no conspiracy, nothing weird like that.
So there is a question that have been asked a couple of times. What the frequency of what ultra looks like, and I think you might have touched on it a little bit. I know that we're not looking at every 3 months we're doing this, and I guess the follow up to that is I have seen some other questions or some other comments about this. Is Bono going to be U2 Ultra 2, right? I mean, no. At least someone smiled. Thank you, Amado. I like the laugh.
No, I was gonna do some tasteless South Park reference there, but I won't. U2, I could tell you, U2 is going to be. It's gonna be a pin that people are really going to connect with. Even more than Vegeta 9000. And just going back to Vegeta 9000, we're not giving up on him. Like we're still fighting to make him. So, you know, if you've seen me wearing that prototype, that might not be the last you've seen of it. He might make it.
Very cool. Through. So, and one thing before you move on to, I believe that you wanted to touch on launch possibly. Oh my gosh. This is the worst time to have a brain fart.
Yeah. Let me talk about one other thing real quick, and then we could finish up with launch. I wrote this thing here. It said, "Let's talk about boosts."
Okay.
Because boosts are kind of the you create this thing and kind of becomes its own sentient being, and it's runs off, and you're like, but wait, I want to control you, and it's flips you the bird and kind of runs off. So I think that's kind of what's happened with us and boosts. And for me, I love boosts. I love that idea. I think it's a lot of fun. But I think what's happened today is boosting and boost accounts, and it's not in the original spirit of the concept, right? The original concept was that you had to grind for months and months and months and years to eventually get to 100 points, but the community came together. They created boosting groups, and I know there's some monetary kind of side on boosting, and the reality for all being kind of frank with each other here, you need to buy FiGPiNs to boost. So as a business, we're cool, that sells FiGPiNs. So that's not a bad thing. I think what we have to do is really modify the boost concept to take all of this new stuff into consideration, because it was created one way, it morphed into something else, and I think we have to just think long and hard about how we can make this system be able to grow into the future. And as we were saying earlier with Ultra, we saw how it affected our Ultra, power level requirements. Because if you have two users, one who really earned the 350K in the old school way, and one who earned it in the new school way, they're not on a level playing field, right? I don't know if you guys would agree to that statement, but I don't think they're on a level playing field.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's important to look at boosts and figure out how to transition it into something that's bigger and better, and that can handle the evolving nature of boosted communities and boosters and boost accounts and blah, 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 all that stuff. So like one concept we're thinking of is maybe, and please don't hold me to these are not things we're building, but one idea is that, you know, boosts are things that happen on a yearly basis, meaning like these are your boosts for 2020, boosts for 2021, 2022, because now it gives you a chance to kind of play the game every year. Because right now, once you get to the 100, you're done forever. Like you can't play that game anymore.
Yeah.
Another concept is to somehow integrate boosts into the battle experience, right? So now boosts become a kind of fuel for battles, become a kind of
battles,
like ammunition in battles, right? And a bunch of other concepts that, you know, we're not going to go into right now, but it's just, I want you to know that this is something that we're looking at. It's not that we're trying to punish anyone or make the experience not fun. We just want to make sure that it's fair for everyone that engages in the app and uses the app. Because at the end of the day, if someone's a collector and they're not getting into all this community stuff, they're at a disadvantage. So if we go and we say, you know, for the next Ultra, you need to have 100 boosts in your account, they're screwed, you know. And so that's not fair to them. We're not going to say that. Just anyone is thinking we're going to say that. So lastly, the thing that is going to kick off with Ultra is launch. Launch is the full-blown replacement for Unlock Day.
Okay.
You know, it's really simple what we're doing. I think it's simple. So if I could explain it in like 30 seconds, that means it is simple. It's going to take me a little bit longer because I want to explain why we're doing it. When we got into Disney theme parks, we kind of ran into like a problem, which is you get this new customer who's never heard of FiGPiN before. They pick up the character that they like and they buy it. They open it up. They see there's this app thing. They put in the serial number and it says, this unlock day is, 16 years from now, try again later. It's a terrible experience.
Yeah. Yep.
Like nobody likes that.
About that.
Yeah, they can't see their factory score. They can't see all, it says it right on the packaging, like unlock this pin in the app to discover the uniqueness of your FiGPiN. And then it's like, well, no, we're not going to let you discover the uniqueness of your FiGPiN for another 2 weeks. Yep. That's lousy. But that's a bad customer experience there. And another thing is that, as we saw with Unlock Day, it's 1,000 people trying to run through one door, and the more people that try to run through that door, the more elbows and and then the knives come out, and then people start stomping on each other and shanks come out, and it's not working. It's like if we're being honest with ourselves, it's not working. It's creating a lousy customer experience for new people, for existing people. We end up spending too many resources on trying to fight people who are abusing the system, because they're out there, and for what it's worth, we know every single account that is doing that, because the way in which you do it is very obvious to us. Like we could see that this account behaves this way and that account behaves that way, and it's very obvious. But again, our job is not to go out and like punish people. Our job is to create a good experience for everyone. So the way we're doing this is by introducing this concept of launch. But before I talk about launch, we talk about claim. So if you're that Disney customer that picked up a pin for the first time, you go to the app, you unlock your serial number, which means you discover, you put it in the unlock section, and it'll immediately show you the edition, the run size, all of the factory stuff. And then you could say claim. And then it'll issue you a original claim or first to claim card. which is going to have one value. You are buying this pin on secondary market, and they released it and they gave it to you and you claimed it, which means you put it in your account. It'll show up as a second claim, or we were actually trying to figure out the right wording for that. So that solves the adoption part of the meaning it's now in my app. I own this thing.
Yep.
Then just like we have unlock day, you're gonna have this other card that's called launch day, and it says, hey, the launch day for this pin is 12 days from whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. It's the launch day is at some point in the future. And what happens on launch day is everyone that has unlocked and claimed their pin go into a pool, and on launch day, at launch time, all those people in that pool who've again unlocked and adopted and claimed their pin will get sorted by their serial numbers. So every pin has a unique serial number. We add a numeric weight to that. We create a numeric weight based on that serial number, and it gets sorted. It's really one of the most honest and kind of like one of the most fair ways of sorting that you could think of, because it's not based on any kind of like algorithm. It's based on what you have. Yeah, and it's not finger meshing either, right?
Yep.
It's based on the nature of your FiGPiN, and I think that's a really elegant way of solving this thing. And so everybody gets issued a launch position. So if you were first to unlock in the past, you're now first to launch. Second to unlock, second to launch. It's the same score matrix. So first to unlock, which is now first to launch, is going to have that sweet 100 that everyone is always chasing after. Second, third, and so it's going to have the same cliff, the same kind of points cliff that that unlock has right now, but it's going to be launch.
Okay.
And anyone that comes to the app and unlocks and claims their pin afterwards, after launch day, they're just going to be issued the next launch position, as we do now with unlock position.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's just it's gonna be a random position then, according to your sequence.
I don't call it random, because your serial number is your serial number is kind of determining. It's like when you're in school and they sorted the class alphabetically. Is that random? If you're like Alex, you were always like, if they did it A through Z, you were always at the beginning of the roster. I was too with my last name. So that's really my question, is like, is that really random, or is it just based on the attributes that you have?
But does that mean the rich are going to get richer if you have a lower sequence? Or are you going to get a higher launch
serial number, you mean?
Yeah. So if you have sequence 1, are you going to get the
What
best?
do you mean by sequence? I don't know what you mean by that.
Like the 1 out of 1,000.
Yeah, 1 out of 1,000, right?
Yeah,
You're still going to have.
This has nothing to do with sequence. It has to do with the serial number.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the serial number is determining the sort, not your sequence.
Gotcha. Okay.
The sequence is its own kind of gift, like.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So there's been.
I'm excited,
Alex. Good point, because there's a lot of people that were asking the same question. So thanks, Amado, for clearing that up.
Of course.
Well, I guess what she was trying to say is, like, alphabetically, if we were going to go, sequence number 1 should be A, and sequence 1,000 should be Z. Is that kind of what you were getting at, Alex?
I was, but he was saying it's the serial number, not the sequence. So.
Yes.
Right.
I think maybe, Battle, what you're saying is that if you have 3 serial numbers, right, and the first serial number starts with A, and the second starts with B, and the third serial number starts with C, win low to high sort, right? And Yes, I mean, because that's how the sort is. It's, you know, ABC. But that's the thing, is that no one controls that. No one, it's not predetermined. Like, you don't go into a store and say like, you know, I'm going to buy myself you know, a serial number that has lots of, you know, this or that. And also we're going to change the way that sort happens. By the way, this is the same mechanism that's happening in Chase right now. The way that Chase happens is all the pins in Chase Day, all the pins that have unlocked and are eligible for Chase Day, they get put into a bucket and they get sorted by the numeric weight of their serial number. And the top X number of pins that are part of that allotment for the week get their coupon codes. So yeah, so it's a mechanism that's actually been working really well for us.
Very cool. So, and Amado, I know the question that I was going to ask you before. You know, back in January when we had you on the show, you had shared that Ultra was going to have to be put on hold because of when you got those first pins, there was a defect in it. Do you mind sharing what the defect was that made you guys go ahead and actually decide to make that decision to wait for the release?
Yeah, it was actually like, if it was one defect, I think we would have probably been okay with it, but it was a set of defects and each one of them was really small, but all together they were enough to just make like me, Dan, and Eric say like, no, we're not going to do it. This thing, we've been kind of talking about this for too long. And so I think, you know how I said the black on black is a big part of the Steam?
Yep.
And so when you do like, if you do like pure black on black, it literally just disappears. So you can't even see it. So it's really a kind of, you have to find the right black value to put on black. So on the badge pin, we hadn't quite nailed that down. So it just didn't look right. On the back of the Ultra pin, there was a defect there that we didn't like. That it was packaged in the box. There was also material that was used that we didn't like. It just didn't feel premium enough. That the shipper boxes were made, I didn't think they were durable enough for transportation. So, and there's like one or two other things. All these things together just killed it for us.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So we actually have 1,000 of these, you know, Ultras that we're going to take apart and recycle where we can, reuse where we can, and, you know, and scrap where we can.
Nice, very cool.
2 quick questions for you. So for APs for launch day, will they be put in like a separate bucket than with the common pins to be assigned points based off?
You know, I can't answer that right now. Not because I don't want to. I have to just check because I'm not sure. Yeah.
Sure. And then anything that is unlocked before launch day is active will be kind of grandfathered with the app, correct?
So if you have a pin right now, like your any pin off the wall back there, John, where it says 63rd to unlock, it's just going to say 63rd to launch.
Okay.
And you get the same score. So really, we're just changing words out from, you know, unlock, adopt to launch. Yep. And then you're going to see a new story card called name, and it'll show whether, you know how on the bottom of the adopt card it has, oh, my kids. It's like sound canceling, you can't hear anything, so you could like set the house on fire and I wouldn't know. So you have you know, you have the 2 flags, the solid flag and the empty flag on the bottom, and one shows original. That's going to branch off into its own card, and that's going to be the claim card, you know, so your pin was either claimed or it wasn't. So that's going to be the change for the stuff prior to launch. And we're trying to work it where Ultra is the first pin that's going to go through this launch cycle.
Very cool.
So then with the claim, I noticed that if you have an original unlocked or original claim pin, and then you send it back into the unlocker room for cohort or chrono, it then changes it from like an empty flag to a filled flag, almost like you're not the original unlocker. But with this new launch, is it always just gonna say first claimed?
I feel like that's like a bug we've been trying to hunt down for a long time, and so I'm gonna, Alex, I promise I'll get back to you on this. I have to just check on that, because
Yeah, sure.
I keep seeing that same kind of issue talked about over and over again, and I feel like it's either a bug or people are not doing what they're being told to do to remedy it. So
Sure.
let me kind of look into that, and I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. Sounds great. Thanks, Amado.
Well, Amado, I mean, if there's anything else that you have, I mean, we'll let you go, because I know that it's getting late for you, and we appreciate all the time. So obviously we want to make sure you have time with your family as well for the rest of the day. So is there anything else that you have for us?
No, I think I think for me, I just want to recap some of these things that we're talking about. Why we did the 350K versus 500 versus 1 million, because the terrain changed. From when we first started talking about Ultra till now, it's changed, and boosting is a big part of that. Like, boosting made it so that we didn't have clarity as to what it means to earn the right to buy an Ultra. If I'm being kind of blunt about it. So I chose to make it more accessible to the collectors than make for the collectibles, because I'd rather allow a collector who's really, and again, I'm not trying to talk in a negative way about the whole boosting thing, but if there's a collector out there who's been grinding away kind of old school with like 1 or 2 boosts here and there, getting to 350K is a very different path than doing it through the new school way of doing it. And so that's the 350K. I know that the price has been brought up before, like, I'm not going to pay $85 for a pin. My answer is don't buy it. I don't mean to be kind of rude about that, but this is something that we put a lot of time, we put a lot of effort into it. It's a very premium product. We've put a lot of development into the technology side of it, and development is not free. And we believe that price. We believe that price is a perfectly fair price, especially when you see people in the same thread saying, like, I wouldn't pay $85 for a pin, but I have these 3 logo pins to sell for $150 a piece. So it's not, it doesn't add up there. And why is it available in the app only? Again, I made that very clear. This was born from the app. It's for the app. It'll always stay in the app. My advice to people who are upset about that is just go buy it in the secondary market. I'm sure there's going to be some that are being sold that way. If you want to get the pins that we're working on in the future, download the app and start putting your pins in there.
Yep.
That's all I could say. Boosts is something that, like I said, I love boosts. I want to make them fair to the whole community. I think, and John, you remember, a while back, I was more negative about that stuff, but I think I've seen a lot of the benefits of the boosting community and how it brings people together. And
yep,
like, I've seen the good side of it, but unfortunately, I've also seen the bad side of it. And so I have to navigate through these waters here and get this to the right place. And that's something that we're going to do. We're not out to punish people. We actually want to make this fun. And lastly, just, we are an open book as a company. Like, if you want to ask us anything, you could You could send in a support ticket. You could contact me directly. I know there's this thing which is like, oh, FiGPiN only likes to talk to this group or that group. Or I think that's absurd because, like I go from like platform to platform to platform, trying to engage with as many people as possible. And, my email is amado@figpin.com. Like, if you have any questions, like send me an email, I'll answer your questions. So this idea that you can't, that somehow we have secrets or you can't find out the truth, or that's just a lot of noise.
Yep.
Support. You could
I have a feeling that you're going to be changing your email pretty shortly here.
That's like getting emails from fans doesn't scare me. Trust me. Getting angry emails from fans doesn't scare me. Like we have enough filters and stuff to keep all the garbage out.
Yep.
If you send me an email and you're yelling and screaming at me, and I'm just going to delete it. I'm not going to. Like if you want to ask me a question the way you would ask me in person. If you met me in person at a con, you're not going to start screaming in my face, I don't think.
Yep.
So do the same with the email, and I'll be more than happy to respond. It might take me a while, but I will respond.
So, Amado, so the last thing before we leave, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Ultra is going to launch. I assume it will be the first item on the home screen to go ahead and get to and access to purchase.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be listed in what we call the catalog in the app. It's going to be like lonely little pin on the shelf by itself. And make sure all of your apps are updated. Like just hop into Google Play or the App Store. Make sure you have the latest version of the app. Make sure one of the things that has worked really well for me is, Shopify. I forget what they call it. It's like something pay where it
Shop Pay. Yeah.
Thank you. Shop Pay. Yeah. That makes it insanely easy to finish a transaction. It's literally just one click and it verifies with a text message and you're done. So I would recommend people do that. And, if people have issues, again, send in support ticket. We're going to help you out. We're not, we're trying to make this fun. We're not out to punish people,
Definitely.
At the end of the day, I think it's very important to remember that you guys are giving us your hard-earned money for something that we're making, and that's a very, to me personally, that's a very respect for that. Like I can't in good conscience just take someone's money and kind of run with it and not deliver. And I really mean that. Like everyone that pays for, whether it's an Ultra or a common pin, they really deserve the best. They really deserve the best from us. And kind of looping back to the beginning of the conversation with the Pins on Fire, you see them doing that too, where like every little detail, the sticker and the bubble wrap, and like they care because they know that every penny you're spending with them is valuable. So.
Yep. Awesome. Well, Amado, we appreciate you so much. If obviously, again, if there's anything that we can do to help support you and the team, please go ahead and reach out to us, and we'll get words out. If you want to come back on the show, if there's something that you need to go ahead and announce, please go ahead and reach out to us. More than happy to have you again.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Stephen. It was good to meet you. I'll we have our planning meeting on Friday. I'll get the Gundam conversation going again. And,
ever since you put in the comments about Legend of Korra pins, they're coming, but I still don't have a date.
Ready for that too.
I'm still waiting, Amado.
Oh, he's looking at. You can tell he's looking at another screen, so he's looking at something.
Yeah, you guys need to record the reflections in my eyes because you'll see.
Can you give me a hint? A month?
A quarter? I can't. No, because anything I give you won't be accurate right now. The licensing is like licensing is like unlock day, where you have 1,000 people trying to go through this one door at the same time. And unlike unlock day, like we have to pay them. That's not the other way around.
Yep. And Amado, I guess the next thing that you if you can post somewhere, because people keep asking, and I don't want to hold you any longer, but people are asking about the warehouse party again. So there's a lot of questions, but we don't have time to talk about that right now. But any update that you can give social media would be appreciated.
Yeah. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about that soon.
Very cool.
We love that event, and we absolutely want to do more things like that. So we'll be talking about that real soon.
Very cool. Well, I guess the next thing we'll see you at Star Wars Celebration, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Steven. Go ahead.
Yeah, Steven.
Actually, where you started there, that's what I was about to ask you. I was going to say, before you go, Amado, Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, he leaked enough already. I mean, he's showed the picture of the Ultra.
Celebration. I mean, it's a really big show for us, because the film license is it's a significant. If you go back 2 years and you said, "Hey, Team FiGPiN, you're going to be getting a Lucasfilm license," we'd be like, "Get out of here! It's impossible." So for us, it's a really big deal, and to be invited to celebrations and to be able to exhibit there and represent that property is like a big deal for us. So the one thing that I can tell you, and it's not a leak, but the one thing that I can tell you is that we worked really hard with Lucasfilm and with all of our properties under the Lucasfilm license to try to make the offerings at celebrations hit as many properties as possible. If that makes sense.
Very cool.
And I've got a question regarding that for a later date, Amado.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, Amado. Well, have a great evening.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Steven, pleasure meeting you. It was good to see you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. So, Steven, there is a question that I do have to ask you, because thank you to Disney FigFan. We forgot to ask our favorite question. So, Alex or Battle, do you want to ask our favorite question to Steven?
Go ahead, Battle.
Oh, no, it's John's favorite question.
So, and I know you're in the car, so we don't have to go ahead and preface it that, have your wife or your significant other, earmuff it. But what is the most expensive single pin purchase that you've had? FiGPiN purchase that you've had?
So I'm gonna be straight with you. I'm not a big spender. So I'm looking at over 9,000 Vegeta, Best Buy Goku, 2 APs. I've got a few things here in the car with me, but I'm gonna be honest. The most I've probably spent on a FiGPiN is about $60 until Ultra.
So can I ask you the reverse of the question? What's the least amount of money you've spent on a pin?
You have that one in mind for a good reason.
Yes, I do.
All right. So this little guy right here, this no big deal.
So Jin Kazama from GameStop.
Jin Kazama,
one of the first pins made.
Man, I spent a whopping $249 on him.
$249?
$249.
$2.49 Battle.
How the heck did you do that?
He found it on clearance on their website.
$2.49.
You just bought it yesterday? How'd you find this? When was this?
I don't really remember. I'll be honest. I feel like I was shopping for, last minute gifts or something for Christmas. They were having clearance sales on GameStop's website, and I love Tekken as a, I don't play it hardcore, but I like Tekken fighting games. Not hardcore into them, but I love them. I like them, as an onlooker. But so, anyways, I was like, Jin Kazama, $249. I didn't know he was rare. I was like, I like fig pins. I'm into this now. Let's, $249. Heck yeah, let's go for it. Then I registered in the app. I don't think the app officially you can unlock things until like a few months later or something.
Yep.
2019, a few months into 2019. I don't remember, but I had no idea how rare he was until I finally unlocked him in the app. So
that's so cool.
$2.49.
Man,
all right, so
I would have done to start collecting earlier. Oh.
I don't know if you saw this, but I did struggle getting this pin on, and the only reason why I put it on was because I looked and someone had their pin on. I was like, "What? I have to put my pin on now." So, Pins on Fire, thank you. I do love the pin. Thank you so much for all the little trinkets. Steven, I believe you said you had a giveaway that you wanted to go ahead and do. So, did you want to share details about that?
Yeah, and I know it's late. And I didn't get to it earlier, but I just want to say my pop culture pin collectors, just in brief. I shared pin collecting news on Facebook regarding licensed pins. I originally started doing it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Work, life, family, new child. My time got stricter, so I had to dial back to Facebook. But ultimately, what I like doing is I love sharing new licensed pin drops with everyone. I love connecting everyone with new pins, new products to enjoy and to add to their collections. And kind of this is where the theme of my giveaway is going. So if you want to check it out, follow me on Pop Culture Pin Collectors on Facebook. It's technically a group. I would like to in the future turn it into a full-on vlog. Right now I do everything from my mobile phone, so it's getting kind of cramped when the news gets tight. Convention season hits and like there's new pins dropping all the time. It gets kind of intense. So I'd like to upgrade to a laptop or a computer in the future. I'd like to move upward. But anyways, I love sharing news with you guys. I love connecting you with pins. So the theme of my giveaway is my favorite characters to collect. So basically, for those of you who opened Instagram early in the stream and are still with us, there's a post of an image that says my top 5 characters to collect. Post in the comments in descending order those characters. So from top to bottom, and the first one wins a pin bundle of every single one of those characters. Now, unfortunately, not all of them have made it into not all of them have made it into FiGPiN form, but all the pins that I included in this bundle are some of my personal favorites. And
cool.
If you get a license you just don't connect with from this bundle for the winner, hey, pay it forward. Send it to a friend or a fellow collector who does.
All right, so when you're going ahead and post, because I'm sorry, Steven, when you're posting this, you can just you can
one comment.
Yeah, one comment, because we're never going to go ahead and be able to go ahead and follow that along. So one comment is perfect. Sorry about that, Steven.
You're good.
Because there's already people going ahead and seeing it. Yeah, so the post is on Instagram. You'll see there's an image. There's 5 of his favorite pins. You have to go ahead and start with in descending order. So from the top to the bottom, write it in one comment so we can go ahead and give the pin bundle away thanks to Pop Culture Pin Collectors. And since we're going ahead and talking about giveaways and how amazing Pins on Fire is, Alex, is there anything that we have to give away tonight thanks to Pins on Fire?
We do. We have.
Oop, and I'm sorry. Oop, is this right?
It's not in the right order, I don't think.
Oh, it's not in the right order.
Descending order from top to bottom.
Yep. All right, go ahead. Sorry, Alex. So what's our
we have
Alex, I'm sorry, breaking news. We do have a winner.
Yep.
So FiGPiN fan Walker.
Congrats.
Found the posts. We did have someone that did have the right pins, but they were not in the correct order. It's Chun-Li, Mega Man, Godzilla, Ahsoka, and Ultraman. So FiGPiN fan Walker, please make sure that you're following Steven on Instagram and joining his group on Facebook at Pop Culture Pin Collectors. Reach out to him and he will get you that pin bundle. Congratulations again. Alex, sorry to interrupt you for the 3rd time there. What do we have from our sponsor, Pins on Fire?
We have an AP Vegeta XL.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
Look at
I
that.
need to jump off the stream so I can try to win that.
Yes, sir. Go for it. Go for it.
Look at that.
All right. Awesome. Very,
Oh.
very cool.
How do we want to?
How do you want to do it?
Well, first person that can comment all 3 of the APs we received from Pins on Fire earlier in the show in our mystery boxes, no specific order, make it 1 comment. You will win this XL Vegeta AP.
Very cool.
Dang. Thank you, Pins on Fire.
Yeah, thank you guys, Pins on Fire. Steven, it's really been a pleasure, man. I hope that you had fun with us. You know, it's rare that we have so many people on the stream, but you got to go out and hang out with Amado personally. So you know, it was definitely cool having him be part of the stream with you as well. So yeah, we appreciate it, man. So
yeah, after the giveaway, if you don't mind, I got the bundle right here in hand to show.
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
And it looks like Professor FiGPiN.
FiGPiN.
Winner.
Such a great supporter of our show, Professor FiGPiN.
He even added in the APs.
Oh, he did. Yeah, wow.
Instead of just saying Weiss, you know, Aang and Hawks, he was like AP Weiss, AP.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So he was very specific.
It was painful because I remembered.
So Professor FiGPiN, please reach out to us and we will get you the AP Vegeta XL. Congratulations. And Steven, did you want to show the pins that they won?
Yeah. So who was at the top? I'm not even looking at my post.
FiGPiN Fan Walker is the person that won.
And who is the first character on my list?
Chun-Li.
All right. And I tried to stay within the figural pin theme. So this is Chun-Li as she appeared in Street Fighter Alpha.
That's cool.
You got Mega Man after that?
Well, actually, before that, I had to throw this in. It's a little off theme here, but it's one of my favorite pins, the Street Fighter 2 logo pin.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Right, you said Mega Man was next?
Mega Man was next, yep.
All right, Mega Man X.
Oh, sweet. One of my favorite games.
Sweet.
All right.
You had Godzilla.
All right, now this is one of my favorites here. Okay. This guy is tiny, okay?
Godzilla.
Oh, that is
so
sweet.
I couldn't just include the tiny one. I did include the giant one.
Oh, love them.
Nice.
Double down.
And then you had Ahsoka.
The Ellie Ahsoka.
Awesome.
Nice. Very nice.
And then you had Ultraman.
And then I have these Guri Hero collaboration Ultraman pins.
Those are super cool. I actually just got done looking at your post with the ones going like this and all that. Like, those are so cool. I haven't seen those since I was a little kid watching them fight Godzilla.
And then a little bonus, because I love it so much, doing a Gundam.
Oh, that was a sweet Gundam.
Sweet, man. So cool. Very, very generous to you, Steven. FiGPiN Fan Walker, please make sure that you're reaching out to Steven. We'll go ahead and plug him one more time. Follow him on IG. Go find his group on Facebook, Pop Culture Pin Collectors. Steven, thank you so much. Alex, do we have any other announcements? Well, I guess we do, right? We have what our guest is next week, right?
Yes. So next week is a good friend of mine, is Will Reimer, aka Wonka. So I'm excited to speak to him. And also I wanted to announce it's the end of April here pretty much already. Time has flown by. So our sponsor for May is continued to be Pins on Fire, which is fantastic. So you guys look out for another great month of giveaways, plus an epic end of the month coming up here in May. So
yep. Yeah, Pins on Fire. Thank you so much for going ahead and wanting to stay with our craziness here. So we appreciate you.
For sure.
And just a reminder, I believe they do have a Star Wars Celebrations exclusive coming to the show.
They do.
That's gonna be so cool.
When is Star Wars Celebration?
Star Wars?
Next week?
End of May, I think.
End of May, yeah. It's I think kind of it falls on Memorial Day weekend, possibly.
That's right.
Yep.
Are you gonna get to go, Steven?
Huh?
You're gonna get to go to that?
Oh, I wish.
Me too.
I am in the planning to go to SDCC for the first time, though. So hoping to get to meet Team FiGPiN in person and any else of you guys who will be attending. So
heck yeah,
Very cool, man. Awesome.
Awesome.
All right, Battle. Close us out, my friend.
It's been another great episode. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for everybody who stuck with us and watched. Stephen, it was a pleasure to finally meet you and talk to you. I hope to talk to you many more times.
Pleasure's
Fellow
mine.
co-hosts, I can't wait for next week.
All right, maybe he didn't understand. Alec, Battle, you get to go ahead and actually do the whole closing.
How we end the show?
Okay, well, Stephen, have you seen how we end this show?
Well, you have to ask Alex, how does she have anything to finish? You have to ask her, do I have anything to finish?
I'm good. This has been a long show. Let's just go.
It is definitely, guys.
You only told me the intro. You didn't tell me this.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much I know it's been a long show. Thank you so much for everyone that's been following us this whole time. Stephen, a pleasure. Alex and Battle, obviously, always appreciate all of your, all of your support as well. It's great being on the show with you all the time. Battle, close us out, my friend. Let's do it.
All right. You know how we end the show, Stephen? All right.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything else that my fellow hosts or guests would like to say before we close out the night?
Good night.
All right. Then.
Once again, thank you all.
Absolutely. 2,
It's a pleasure.
1. Battle awesome.
Boost awesome.
Boost awesome.
Boost awesome.
What the FiGPiN?
Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.